Hi, this is Gary Lerude. I'm at the IMS 2022 Microwave Conference in Denver. I'm here with Philip Chesley, the new president of the Infrastructure and Defense Product Group at Qorvo. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking some time from a busy schedule to meet with us.
You're welcome.
So I wanted to start, you joined Qorvo in November after James Klein retired. Tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to Qorvo.
So before Qorvo, I worked for Renaissance. I ran what was called the Industrial and Communications Business Division. And it was really a business that was focused on RF communication for the infrastructure piece of the market, industrial power, optical communications, so similar technologies to Qorvo and IDP. Before that, I was a senior vice president at Intersil, where I helped build their analog, their power management businesses, as well as their military business. So, my background was a really nice fit. From the RF, the military, defense, aerospace, I felt like, the products and the technologies were things that, matched my background. But more than that, when I look at Qorvo, Qorvo is a leader, an innovative leader in RF. And if you look at where I think the RF market is going in terms of, more mixed signal integration, more linearity, things like that, I felt like I could come in and add, some value in helping scale up some of these additional technologies that are going to be needed, for the future of what the RF world looks like.
That's great. So Qorvo's had a long history of technology development, a lot of it funded by the DoD, and you've had two recent programs, the SHIP program and then the one you most recently announced, Starry. Tell us a little bit about those programs and kind of how they fit the Qorvo strategy.
So I'll start with SHIP. SHIP is really fits the strategy of the system integration and packaging technology and capability at Qorvo. And we've partnered with the U.S. government to bring onshore advanced packaging to the industry. And for us, we're going to leverage that to really not only bring smaller form factor, more efficient solutions in the RF space, but again, this trend of integration is something that's important to us, and we see SHIP really being core to that. And so, been a great partnership, and there's still more to do. You'll hear more in the future of some additional investments and things that we're making for that capability. For Starry, Qorvo is a leader in GaN on silicon carbide technology. And for us to kind of get to that next generation performance level, we need to move to 90 nanometers. We see that need from our customers and our partners, in particular in the defense market.
Right.
So with Starry, here we have, another partnership with the U.S. government to bring that advanced technology in the United States, right, to bring kind of that next level of performance in a critical technology.
Well, those seems like very key technology developments, and not only for Qorvo, but particularly for the U.S. competitive base, so that's great. So one of the interesting things about IDP several years ago, the strategy was somewhat expanded to look beyond sort of the core RF market, and you've done a number of acquisitions kind of in power electronics. So talk a little bit about those acquisitions and where you see going in the power electronics side of the business.
Yeah, so we made two acquisitions. Active Semi was our first, and then most recently we announced United Silicon Carbide. When you look at the power market, and I'm going to differentiate between RF power and AC/DC and DC power, right? The trends are very, very similar, right? It's about integration, it's about higher efficiency, but one of the really interesting trends that's happening is as the world moves to greener and more efficient solutions, from EV cars to brushless DC motors, you're starting to see the need for compound semiconductor technologies, whether that's silicon carbide technology, whether that's GaN on silicon carbide, whether that's GaN on silicon. Qorvo's a leader in those areas, right? And so there's this intersection of the technologies in the DC and AC/DC power markets that we feel fits us very, very nicely. And so what you'll see in the future is you're going to see us build on those core capabilities. You're going to see more silicon carbide solutions. You're going to see us put the rest of the power management pieces around the silicon carbide technologies. And again, we see that as a real growth driver for Qorvo in the future.
Yeah, it seems like a good, just independent, a good growth area, but also very complementary, as you say, to the RF power side.
Exactly.
So Qorvo's always been a very strong supporter of IEEE, the Microwave Theory and Technology Society, and always had a big presence at IMS. Is this your first visit to IMS?
This is my first visit to IMS, yes.
So tell us a little bit about what the objectives are for Qorvo being here, and then your impressions.
Okay. So for Qorvo, we're here to announce our next generation innovative products in GaN on silicon carbide. And we continue to focus on the defense markets, whether that's EW or aerospace, also on our non-defense markets. But the other thing that's really interesting is we're showing kind of the next generation products that show that next advancement in linearity, efficiency, packaging technology, back to the to the ship discussion, yeah. Right? And then system integration as well. And one of the products that we are showcasing is actually a power management IC, right? That is used to drive a PA, which again, the strategy of system integration, and all you're starting to see the pieces of where we're going.
Yeah,
with
connecting
that, right?
the dots.
Connecting the dots, right? And so that's really what we're trying to showcase here at the show today. My initial impressions, actually, I've been really impressed. Great turnout, some really impressive technologies that I've seen, and it's nice to be back at at a trade show and seeing people face to face again.
Right, 3-dimension instead of just a screen, right?
Exactly.
Well, that's great. Philip, thank you so much for talking with me. Thank you for sharing some of the strategy at Qorvo and your impressions of the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
This is Gary Lerude from IMS 2022 in Denver. Thanks for watching.